recently, and I want to start here because this is very interesting, and it was something that came into my life just within the last couple of weeks. The woman that I work with predominantly at Vida is a very inspirational thinker, and she sends me all these videos, you know, through emails. Check this out, check this out. And it was a video, a TED video, and this gentleman named Simon Sinek. And he's got a website called startwithwhy.com. Okay, and if what I talk about in the next few minutes here is this intro interests you, I suggest you follow up. And what he talks about, and it's not just about marketing, he talks about the way human beings think and what they're drawn to. He's very inspirational in his thinking, is we have to figure out why we're here. Why are you doing this? Why did you spend the money to go to school? Why do you want to be an acupuncturist? Okay, there's a lot of you out there. It's competitive. Your industry, in terms of integrative medicine and integrative thinking, has taken tremendous strides. Think about in the last 20 years, okay? You've gone from feeling like voodoo, whoa, needles, whoa, to having insurance cover. And that's a big deal. I mean, under, you know, DOs, NDs, integrative MDs, you guys in chiropractors are the ones that are moving up the ladder in terms of being accepted by mainstream America and the way that we think about health and medicine. But there's a lot of you, and from a marketing standpoint, you have to think about, why am I here? Instead of starting with the how or the what, I need a flyer, I need business cards, I need a coupon, I need to start with the why, because people are going to connect with the message. You notice when I came up here this morning, I didn't say, hi, my name's Melanie. I can do business plans, operations, I can support you in your legal startup, I can do messaging matrix, I can do all this, and my rate, you don't care about that. You care about, why am I here? Why would I come and take an hour out of my day to speak to acupuncturists about how they can grow their business? That's the connection. That's the human connection. And from a marketing standpoint, if you think of it like a funnel, and the big part of the funnel is up here, and the finite part is down here where you're actually converting patients, you have to start with the bigger thought, because the way people are going to connect with you, and more importantly, the way they're going to want to continue to connect with you, is obviously because of what you do clinically. Okay, but there's a lot of you that do this clinically, and a lot of you that are good at it. Okay, they're going to connect with you because of your story. What's your story? Why did you do this? Is your passion to help people with chronic pain and get them off meds? Is your passion to help children? Is your passion to be the best researcher, or to help hormonal women? What is it? How did you end up here? You know, I have a story. I started off doing something completely different. My mom still says to me, well, why aren't you a lawyer? Why'd you go to law school? It was 20 years ago, Mom, you know? I mean, it's funny, but it's true. When you start off in a place and you don't always end up where you think you're going to go. What's your story? And I challenge you to really think about that. And Simon Sinek, who I was referring to, and then, you know, I have to cite him. He's just incredible. He says, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. That's the connection. Okay? And these are some cool things that he writes as well. Good marketing seduces, bad marketing targets. Good marketing never mentions price. Bad marketing always mentions price. Good marketing uses the products to help tell a story. Bad marketing tells stories about products. Good marketing is about us. Bad marketing is about them. Bad marketing manipulates. Good marketing inspires. Good marketing offers us a view of the world. Bad marketing offers you a product to buy. Good marketing speaks for us. Bad marketing speaks at us. Good marketing drives loyalty. Bad marketing drives transactions. Good marketing promotes values. Bad marketing values promotions. And good marketing starts with a cause, and bad marketing starts with a goal. And that's really what I want you to think about. Think about the cause. Before you even think about your budget, what you're going to do, how you're going to get patients, who you're going to surround yourself with, think about why you're here. It's really, really important to take the time to do that and come up with your story and say your story out loud. People say when you network, you got to have your elevator speech, you got to have your 3 minutes, you got to have your story, okay? That's what people will connect with ultimately, especially with what you guys do. They have to trust you. Okay, for most people, this is the first time they've ever experienced anything like this in their life, having acupuncture. You know, they have to grow into becoming, you know, not a the goal of marketing, let me stop for just a second. The goal of marketing, to me, is really simple. The goal of marketing is to get a measurable return. Return on investment, ROI. If you're not interested in the return that you're getting from marketing, then I don't really understand why you're doing it. If you're just spending $1,000 to market your business and you have no measurable way of tracking that, and we shoot for a 3-to-1 return in marketing, so if you spend $1,000, I want you to make $3,000. If you're not tracking that, and I'm going to get into some tools about the way that I know I've seen successful businesses track it, I don't get hung up on how you track it. Okay, I've seen what works and I'm going to present that. But you have to track it. And if you're not, you're wasting money and you're throwing darts, and I don't understand why you do it. The other goal of marketing is to get evangelists. People say, well, I ask people, what's the goal of marketing? And they say, well, to get more business, to get more patients, to get more clients. No, you could do an hour of acupuncture for $5 and get lots of patients. Okay? You're running in and out the door all day long. You want evangelists. You want people that are going to see you and enjoy your services and get so much benefit from you that they are going to go and tell everyone they know about you. That is a pot of gold. You could make a coupon and put it on everybody's windshield and you may get a couple patients, okay? But I guarantee you're going to get exponentially more patients from your evangelists. They're crucial. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about managing your database in just a little bit. Most of you, I think, you may have a partner, you may work with a chiropractor, but I'm assuming most of you are out on your own, doing your own thing. Is that a safe assumption that you're not part of a bigger team? Okay. But you can translate this into your paradigm, okay? And this is what, once you get your cause and your why, and you really sit with that, and I challenge you to write it down and to say it out loud over and over again. It has to resonate with you. It has to be something that you're passionate about. Okay, there's nothing wrong with a story. It's not a make-up story, it's your story. But it's okay to practice the words and practice the pitch and practice how you're going to say it. That's important because it'll start to flow better. Once you get there, then you need to start to get into some really, what I call task-oriented things. Okay, so that's the bigger visual, spiritual, whoa, take a moment. Figure that out, get your message, and then you dive into this sort of stuff. What are you trying to build? What's your vision? Okay? Why are you doing this? Are you doing this because you want to make a lot of money? Are you doing this because you want to, like I said, who are you trying to help? Where do you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? Are you doing this, as a part-time thing? Do you do other stuff? What rocks your world? Where are you going with this? Think about those things because it's important. It's important to think a year out. It's important to think 5 years out. When we actually are doing in tasks, I recommend not thinking more than a year out. It can be overwhelming. And people say, oh God, you got to have a business plan. You got to have a business plan. You got to have this. Business plans are important, okay? But really the important part of a business plan is the exercise in doing a business plan. And marketing is a big facet of your business. It's the exercise of doing these things that's going to lead you to that light bulb moment where you go, wow, I'm measuring return and I'm getting patients and this is really working. Versus just, I don't know if this is working. I printed out a bunch of stuff. I spent some money. I got a website now. I don't know. I'm doing social media. I don't know if it's working or not. So get really clear on your vision and get really clear on your mission. And again, don't get hung up on all these, what's your mission statement, what's your tagline. There's a lot of marketing terminology that flies around. Your mission should be, why are we here? Vida, where I do most of my work, we're there to help people live better longer. It's simple, I can say it. I don't forget it. It's true. That's how we do it. We want to help people live better longer. So figure out what your mission is. Figure out what your values are. You may be working alone right now, but you may have people come into your world down the road. Collaborative thing, maybe a partner, an assistant. Think about what your values are and what you want your corporate culture to be, even if you're just on your own. It's important. It will translate. Your patients will vibe on that. When I walked in here today, I'm like, wow, awesome spiritual saying on the wall. It feels like that energy. This is, especially you people as a group, I'm making assumptions here, but I'm assuming that you came into this arena and got this education because you come from a spiritual place as well with it. Most acupuncturists do. What are your objectives? And this is really what's going to break down your to-do list, your objectives, your strategies, and your priorities. Again, don't get hung up on the words. It's just a giant to-do list. Okay? It's no different than if you wanted to redo your garden. You don't just like go to Home Depot and just buy a bunch of stuff. You know, you're like, okay, I'm going to need some tools. What am I going to need? What do I want to plant? I got to research it. What's going to grow in this light? What's going to do this? To be a little calculated in your thinking here. So I really like this because it's just a one-pager, and it's just, if you feel yourself getting off track, just come back to it and really read it and think about what they're trying to say. Don't get hung up on the words. Make up your own words that resonate with you. That doesn't matter. You know, forget about this elevator speech, this tagline thing, all these marketing terms that people throw around. I'm like, whatever works for you. So what this leads into when you do this exercise, you get the bigger, again, the funnel, the bigger cause, the why. Now you're going into your missions and your values and where you're at. But really at the end of the day, this is the most important piece. Two things that I think are important when you're launching your journey with your marketing plan. One is you need to think about your messaging. Okay, and in marketing they tend to call that like a messaging matrix. Again, don't get hung up on stuff. And then you need to have a plan. Okay, it's like I said, I don't know if you read my little blurb thing, I don't know if that went out on the flyer. You wouldn't just say, oh, you know what, I'm going to run a marathon tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get up and put my shoes on, and I'm going to go run 26 miles. Unless you're, I mean, I don't know, maybe you're a marathon runner. I would run 5 miles and like be like, oh my God, that's done. 5 if I was lucky, okay? You have to have a plan. You have to say, okay, I'm going to run a marathon in 4 months. I'm going to, you know, run this many miles. I mean, there's whole businesses built around that. Okay? You have to know, you have to have a plan with measurable goals. Okay? And I can't, you'll hear me say that over and over and over and over again, because if there's nothing more important. I don't care what your plan looks like. Type up a Word document, an outline, write it on a big poster board, draw pictures, whatever it is, but you have to have a plan. And what you have to have, the integral parts of that plan are, which this template, which we're going to talk about, which is really just a giant to-do list. But you have to think about your messaging. And you have to get really clear, and this is when you're thinking about your why and your cause, get really clear on who your target patient is. Not just like, well, you know, I'd like to work with everybody except for kids. I'm not comfortable with working with kids. Or I just want to work with kids. Or I just want to work with people in pain. No, no, no. I mean finite. I want to work with women over the age of between the ages of 45 and 65 who have a disposable income, who live in this zip code, who want to get relief in their hormone balancing. And I think I can help them with that. Get really clear. There may be 3 or 4 categories. I'm not trying to limit you in your practice. But get really, really clear on who those people are. And it's important because when we talk about strategic partnerships, which is a great way to do free marketing, you cannot go and find strategic partnerships to help grow your business if you don't know where the people that you want are. Where are they hanging out? You don't know where they're hanging out and where to go find them if you don't know who they are. Okay, so you have to get really clear on that and take the time to do that. And like I said, there may be 3 or 4 different categories. I wouldn't do any more than that though. There's too many acupuncturists in this geographic climate. I mean, if you guys were, if we were in Omaha, we could be a little broader in our scope, okay? But in San Diego and Southern California, there's a ton of competition. You guys know that. And so, where are you going to go and, for lack of a better word, cherry pick your patients? There's nowhere that it's written that your patients have to come and find you. You got to go and find them. And you can't go and find them if you don't know what the heck you're looking for. Okay? And it may change too. This is not a set in stone exercise. It's an evolving exercise. I encourage you to revisit this plan monthly and revise it quarterly, and go back to the drawing board, because what you wrote, we sit down in November and we write a plan for 2013. It's this thick. This is just one little piece of it. Well, we revisit it. We just revisited it last week and we were like, oh my God, we missed the mark on that entire page. We got to regroup. That's okay. That's okay. That's actually a good thing because you're keeping on track. So anyway, the messaging is crucial. There's lots of formal ways if you hire a marketing person or if you educate yourself more in marketing. There's lots of formal ways to say it. But at the end of the day, who are you trying to go after? And what do you need to say to get them to convert into a patient? And you don't know what your messaging is until you know who they are. So that's crucial. So let's go through the This is a one-page marketing plan template. So you have to imagine in a bigger company like my biggest client, for you guys, you could do 1 or 2 or 3 of these. Okay, you could do 1 of these, would be fine. In a bigger situation, this is part of a bigger 1-year-long packet usually that has goals and strategies and charts and graphs and all that stuff. So don't get hung up on this. What I like about this is it's really usable. So what you need to start with, if you take the blank one and you kind of lay it next to the one that's got some words on it, this is a client, I cut obviously the name of the business out and cut some other things out. This is a client that I have who is launching, she's a teacher and a yoga instructor, and she's launching a really cool business about inspiring young women, teen girls to be empowered and to gain confidence through yoga and coaching. Okay? Just so you guys know. So the goal, again, going back to this, the goal would be what number 4 is, the objective, and then the strategy and the priority. So the objective is the bigger vision, the strategy is how we're going to get there, and the priority, or what we call the what here, is the to-do list. And literally that's really, really finite. Like, you know, am I going to have a website? Okay, I've got to buy a domain name on GoDaddy. I've got to get a Facebook page, you know, wherever you may be. So your goal is broad. So position blank as the go-to resource in San Diego for guardians of teen girls who want to enrich their teens' transition from girl to womanhood. That's the broader goal. Okay, that's where her market is. Okay? How's she going to do that? There's 3 strategies, and I wouldn't do more than 3 or 4 strategies on one page. This whole process can become overwhelming if it's not working for you. So, you know, get it to work for you. If you need to handwrite it. If you, like I said, you want to do a poster board with pictures, do a poster board with pictures. Don't get hung up on the structure too much, as long as you have everything you need within the structure. So the first strategy is establish an aggressive patient education communication plan that increases their awareness on why utilizing blank meets the highest standards of care and is critical to a young woman's well-being. Okay, what does all that mean? What that means is she's got to figure out her target, and then she's got to go educate her target market on why they need her. Okay, so her target is, it's not rocket science, okay, so parents of teenage girls, where do they hang out? Coaches, teachers, okay? So she's got to get into that mindset, get into that market, and her patient communication plan, this particular client is already up and running with a website and a digital platform and social media and all that stuff. So a lot of this was really getting her social media plan together, which is like a whole different topic and conversation. So, but it doesn't matter what it's about. It's the process of doing it. So so then you go down to the what, okay, and you say patient communication plan. How? This is the finite. This is the funnel getting really, really finite here. Facebook post monthly, relevant post. Twitter post monthly. LinkedIn. Update LinkedIn page, YouTube post, create a map for my social media connections. So does Twitter connect to Facebook and blah, blah, blah. Build a social media manual. Evangelists need to post to all sites. Staff, friends, comment, we've got to encourage them. Publish a new blog every other month. Publish a newsletter every other month. Email the newsletter. So it's really like, this is your checklist, okay? And then the who and the when. So the who, quite frankly, for you guys is probably going to be you in most of these. And the when is, that's your deadline. And that's why it's important to check this. So your deadline, you know, give yourself enough time, but also challenge yourself, okay? It's like going back to the marathon analogy. If you really wanted to run a marathon and that was your goal, you know, most people are like, let's do it, let's start training, and what's this, you know, when can I get this done? There's a different way of thinking that you could say, oh yeah, like in 5 years I want to run a marathon, but I don't think you guys want to wait 5 years for patients and clients to start coming through your door. So with marketing, now, like we're in the now, like business is rolling out and let's do it. And then so the second strategy is establish a comprehensive communication plan with other professionals, teachers, coaches. So then the plan isn't finished, but you can see where we're going with this, okay? I can't say it enough. Don't get hung up on the words. Don't get hung up on the fancy language. Just really think, what is it going to take? Where do I need to be? It's like you're throwing your pole in the water, right? In the pond. You know there's fish in the pond. You've seen them, right? Other people are catching fish. They're jumping out. You've heard good things about the pond. You know, you fish this time of day, you're going to catch something. But you got to try some different baits, right? You got to figure it out. What's going to take it? How are you going to get that fish on that hook, right? And I like that analogy, one, because I like fishing, but two, because it's true. It's a true conversion. And I think sometimes, especially in integrative thinkers, you know, we don't want to talk too much about like money and converting. But at the end of the day, right, this is your business. And going back to what I started with, you can't make this revolution broader, and you can't participate in this revolution if you're not successful in business. You know, and to be successful in business, you have to have clients and patients, and they have to come back, and they have to tell their friends. So the marketing plan is really, really important. I can send that to you digitally if it's something that, if you like that format. If you don't, a quick Google search, you can find a different format, or you can make up your own, as long as you've got the important components. Are there any questions right now? No, you guys good? Yeah.
Strategy is always basically like different target?
Your strategy, well, this is just geared towards marketing, okay? So your strategy in marketing is what? To get a return. And how are you going to get a return in your business? By getting more patients. So yes, the strategy is just, in your scenario, is only going to support getting more patients. So in this, and with this woman too, it's the same thing. She wants to launch her business, right? She needs people to believe in her, and where's she going to go to get people that are going to even think about this teen coaching? You know, it's a little bit obscure. You guys are you're in a really credible market, acupuncturists in Southern California. I mean, you've crossed, in terms of integrative, you know, practitioners and healers, you're like I said, you're like at the top of the food chain. Okay, you have an inherent credibility, and it's building every day. And that's the thing to take advantage of. You know, so like, where can you go? You know, if I was an acupuncturist, man, and I'm going to talk about strategic partnerships in a second, and I know a lot of you guys already do this, I would figure out who my people are, who do I want to treat, that's the why and the cause, and get really clear on that messaging, and then I go figure out where those people are hanging out. Are they hanging out at yoga studios? Are they with chiropractors, NDs? Can I do a speaking engagement? We're going to talk about that in just a second. But yeah, the strategies in this case, I would keep it really, if you're not already engaged in a marketing plan and you don't have someone, either yourself or someone else that knows about that working with you, and you're really just kind of like grassroots throwing this stuff out there, I would keep it really simple, because you're going to overwhelm yourself. Do a one-pager and have 3 strategies about how to go and get new patients. Okay? And that's kind of a nice lead into new patients. Where do you get them? The single, by far, best, hands down, I have a very strong opinion on this, whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but I stand in this space. The best way to get new patients for acupuncturists is from your existing patients. Okay? There's a huge trust factor with what you do, guys. You're not selling tires or carpet, or people are coming in and laying on a table and you're putting needles into them. They have to trust you. They have to like you. They have to love you. They have to think that you are the bomb. And I guarantee you, everybody that you work on is not going to think that about you, because we're human beings. We meet people that we like, we meet people that we don't like. We try to be kind to all of them. Obviously, clinically, you do a great job and you operate at the highest level every time. But there's going to be patients that you really like and you want to hang out with. You can feel it, right? So, and then there's going to be people that are going to come to you and they're never going to come back. There's an attrition rate. You can't. It just is what it is. But they have to love you. Here's a perfect example, okay? I don't have dental insurance, and I have 2 sons, and my husband does his own thing. I take my sons and myself to the same dentist, and I have for about 4 years now. It was referred to by my girlfriend who has kids, okay? And like my 13-year-old's getting on that braces train or whatever. Make a long story short. This dentist is by far not the cheapest dentist around. By far. He's expensive. This dentist isn't even really that close to my house. And there's like 20 dentists. I mean, dentists are everywhere. There's a lot of them, right? Okay? There's really no reason I should go to this dentist, logically. Okay? This is my husband in my ear. Why is it so expensive? Why are you going? I love it there. I love it there. I walk in, they remember my name, my kid's name, they know what sports my kids are playing. Hey, Ryan, how'd you do in that rugby tournament? You know, da-da-da-da-da. Hey, last time you guys were in, which was 6 months ago, mind you, I remember you guys were going on that vacation. Did you guys have fun? Da 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 da. They could sell me anything in there. And guess what? I've told all my friends about them. I know at least 3 different families that go to them now. That's probably 6 more patients for them. Okay? I get coupons all the time. I mean, come on, dentists, there's $20 off, first visit, $39.99, x-rays, da-da-da-da. Look at that stuff. It will never change. When I say never, right? I mean, if I move somewhere or something. But I mean, I'm like, this is a perfect example of your patients working for you and having that. And why are they going to connect with you? Well, number one, hopefully they're getting clinical relief from you. But they're going to connect with you because of your story. Because they like you. They like that you got into this. They like that you had a background in a life before this. You know? And so that's really what if I could say, put all your efforts into one thing, which I hope you don't. You got to put your efforts into a couple things. But you've got to figure out this evangelist thing, okay? Because they are a home run. I've done spreadsheets. I'm working on a project right now, which is a lead generation. It's a digital platform lead generation project for integrative MDs, DOs, and NDs, okay? And I've run a spreadsheet of what one patient, these are all cash practices, okay? One patient over the course of 4 years can bring in the door for one of these doctors. It's almost $1 million. Do you know how we get there? We have one patient who tells 2 patients, we make assumptions, there's a 30% attrition, we're going to lose people along the way, and they tell 2 patients. And then you're selling them ancillary services, whether it's supplements or other products that you have. Why are they going to buy those things from you? Because they like you. They trust you. They want to come back every time, and they want to tell everyone they know, oh my gosh, you're having back pain, you've got to go and see my acupuncturist. You can't sleep? Stop taking those pills. Go and see my acupuncturist. She's a home run. I love her. She brought me so much relief. Okay? And then what happens? Then we get to move the revolution forward, which I'm assuming that you went into this in some part for that reason. Because most people that are acupuncturists, you know, I mean, it's not like you became a used car salesman. Okay? You had a passion, whatever your background is, again, your story, right? And you went into this for that. So share that with people. So how do we manage evangelists? How do we get them? How do we get them engaged? Well, first of all, we got to go and get patients before we can have evangelists. But once we have a patient, what are we going to do to hold on to them? The worst thing we want is a patient that comes and never comes back and doesn't refer us out to anyone. That's sad. That's a bummer. Okay, you're not going to get to your return on that. What's the goal of marketing? To get a return. Right? To make more money. Well, don't spend any money on marketing unless you have a number in your head of what you want to get back and you can track it. No matter what anybody tells you, you're going to feel pressured. Oh my God, I got to have a Facebook page. Oh my God, I got to have this. I got to have that. I don't have that. Whatever works for you, you may not have any, you may have nothing but business cards, but you're rocking it so hard with your patients and your evangelists. You know, you may have a patient that comes and says, I've had, you know, I have had a lot of acupuncture personally. I had horrible insomnia. I am a huge fan. I tell everybody I know about acupuncture in terms of sleep issues. It saved my life. That is a true story, okay? So if I was your patient and you had done that for me, right? If I were you, I would say, hey, Melanie, I'm so happy you're having such great progress, you know, how would you feel about, you know, maybe getting like 10 or 12 of your friends together and we could have like a wine and cheese thing. I could come to your house and give a talk. Think outside the box. Think outside the box. Or, hey, you know what, Melanie? You've been so great. Your next couple sessions, I'm going to comp you because you sent me so many clients. Come on. That's one thing my dentist doesn't do. I send him so much business, it doesn't give me a price break. But anyway, that's a bigger setup. You guys have the flexibility to do that. Again, measuring that. Saying, okay, can I afford to do that? I'm going to give a free session because I think I can get 3 sessions out of it. Not just like, oh, I just want to give you a free session. Be calculated, okay? But you have to be creative, and that's how it builds. Maybe you don't like speaking in front of people. Maybe that thought terrifies you. Then that's probably not a good idea for you. But, you know, this discipline changes people's lives. There's nothing more powerful from a marketing standpoint. You change people's lives with what you do. And so if you change someone's life and they say to you, you changed my life, you sure as heck better be doing something because that person will lead you to 10 more patients. And so anyway, then let's get into something tangible. Obviously, I get passionate about this, so fired up. I haven't even had like 2 cups of coffee, just one. Customer relation management, CRM, another word, okay? And you guys, I don't know, how many of you now are managing your database some way? Using Constant Contact or MailChimp or making a spreadsheet, anything. Okay. This is crucial, it's easy, and it's cheap. This is a have-to job. This is a have-to job. Okay, I don't know, if you only have 3 patients, that's okay, you start with 3. Whatever it is, if it's a matter of you taking your Outlook and your Gmail and all that and taking a time out and getting that database together and solid, then you take the time to do that. It's a pain in the butt, but you do it. Because that's gold. Communicating with those people is the best bang for your buck.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you have 1 or 2 that you recommend to healthcare providers?
I was going to talk about that. I only use Constant Contact for everything, for across the board. It's not specific to healthcare, but I'll tell you why I use them. I've been using it for 5 years now. It's the customer service in Constant Contact. What you get for what you pay for is incredible. For example, they give you a free trial. It's super user-friendly. I call and I'm like, I want to start sending out a newsletter once a month. I get this guy on the phone. His name happens to be Sam. He says, no problem. I'll create one for you. Send me over the graphics that you want. Or if you happen to have a website, he'll just pull them down himself. Send me over your logo or send me over colors that you're thinking about or send me over for free. Creates it and he goes, hey, you know what, Melanie? The first time you use it and send out, first of all, I'll walk you through it. I'll walk you. I mean, the customer service for Constant Contact, they have a library of free webinars. Okay, they have live events that are free in town. You can go and talk to other people who are building small businesses. That's a good thing to do too. Is hear what other people are doing. MailChimp, I've heard, is comparable, but I can't speak for it. But in terms of, I don't think it necessarily has to be specific to industry. Maybe when you get into more, like, as your practice grows and you get into more of a practice management situation and you're getting into that kind of software, that's a different deal. But in terms of marketing, Constant Contact's a home run. Yeah.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
So do you ask them for permission, when they fill out your paperwork, can I send you a newsletter, or you just put everybody?
Yeah, that's a really good question. There is a certain etiquette, and Constant Contact will monitor this too if they think you're cheating. Like if they think you're taking lists. Like if all of a sudden you've got 50 contacts in your Constant Contact database, and all of a sudden you upload 2,000 out of an Excel spreadsheet, they're going to be like, that's weird. How did that happen? You know what I mean? And they could stop you. They can put a hold on your account. What you need to do with your patients, and what I think every business needs to do, first of all, is you've got to capture their contact information. So I don't know if it's on a patient intake form. Obviously, you're getting that kind of stuff. You can have a sign-in sheet where they check in. And it just says, join our. I usually say join our newsletter. And I'll be really honest with you, and I don't want to get off on a tangent on email marketing because that's a whole different talk. But please do not send out more than 1 or 2 emails a month to these people. The gold standard is really 1. If you can get them to create this newsletter template for you, and then you can put everything in one thing and send it out. Because email marketing, digital marketing people, and social media people will tell you it's on the out, you don't want to do it. I disagree. I think in your industry you should be doing it. But man, how annoying is it to get like 20 emails from someone? You're like, just delete. But yeah, you can have a sign-in sheet where you just have, please join our newsletter, and that's kind of inferred permission. It doesn't need to be like a formal document or anything like that. But I'll tell you one thing, they will unsubscribe if you make them mad, excuse me. So they will just click you, and then then you're gone. They don't want any part of you. So, yep.
So I'm curious why you say it's on the out, why you say specialists would say that it's...
Email marketing?
Yeah.
Because it's being surpassed by digital marketing and people talking on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. And really, when you look at your email, I have one, I think most people, I don't know if most people do, I have a junk email. That's the email I give out for everything. Actually, I have 3, but that's the one where I check it all the time, but that's where I know I'm going to get all this stuff. And it aggravates people. I think email marketing has to be done properly. If you're sending an email every other day, again, there has to be a plan around it. You could create a whole plan just around your email marketing, okay, if you wanted to. But again, like I said, there's a lot to move through today, and I'm happy to follow up with you guys on the back end. But I really like Constant Contact. Check it out. You can do a free trial. They will walk you through it. But whatever you're doing to gather your emails, and other, you may want to send out a mailer, a real mailer down the road, who knows. But emails are gold, so you got to gather them. I want to talk a little bit about strategic marketing partners. Again, everything I've tried to talk about today, you can do for like really cheap. Okay, now you have a template. Okay, now you have a thought process. There are so many resources online, like just for acupuncturists. Like I mean, you guys might have checked this out. Getting ready for this talk, I just Googled like business support for acupuncturists, San Diego. There's like a website that is totally free where she lists like everything you need to do from getting your business license to, and I don't know if they take a class. Do you guys take a business class here? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that's good. So you're getting that background anyway. So there's a lot you can do on a really small budget. And quite frankly, there's no reason to spend a lot of money right now. Get really targeted and see what's working for you before you. When I owned my business, I owned a couple businesses. The first one I was fortunate because I had a really strong partner who led the way in our marketing. The second one I was in charge, I made so many mistakes. Horrible. Print advertising, $1,000. I'd spend $1,000 to put an ad in a magazine. What? How did I even know if I got anything back from that? I'm kicking myself, right? But when you know more, you do better. And you're going to make mistakes. That's part of everything. You're just, I'm assuming most of you don't have an MBA and you don't have a marketing background. So you're going to make mistakes. That's okay. You make a mistake, you go next, and you figure it out. But you got to keep it really clean because your job is to go and be a great acupuncturist. Okay? It's hard for you guys because you're supposed to go and be this great acupuncturist, but then you also got to run your whole business on the side. It's overwhelming. That's why go to all the places that can give you free support. Like Constant Contact's a great one. I'm going to talk about some other free resources too. So I have this friend. She's a thermographer. Do you guys know what thermography is? It's a heat scan of the body. Okay. There are a lot of thermographers in San Diego. Again, if we were in Omaha, there'd probably be one. But there's a lot in San Diego. This thermographer is my go-to thermographer. And I work with a lot of doctors. She is the only one I refer out. One, because she's great clinically. Two, because she gets it and she follows up and she's a true professional and she always does what she says she's going to do. But she's an incredible marketer in terms of strategic partnerships. What she's done is she's figured out her target and she's aligned herself with all the leaders in that industry. So what does she do? To me, I met her at a networking event. She goes, Melanie, biggest client's a compounding pharmacy. They work with over 500 doctors. Doctors refer out for thermography. I should get in front of that. Okay? It's just logic. Where are your peeps? Where are the people that need your services? They may not even know that they want your services yet. But you know that they need them. Okay? The people that are on antidepressants and taking sleeping pills every night, you know you can help them. Right? You know you can help people sleep better. Or whatever, I'm using that as an example. So figure out these strategic partnerships. They can be key. I notice a lot of chiropractors will work with an acupuncturist. That professional referrals are fantastic. That's great. But where else could you go to find them? Like these juice bars are popping up everywhere, right? Those are healthy. Again, who's my target? People that are like-minded. I mean, sure, you're going to get the ones that are way out there, but think like it's a target, right? Like you're shooting a bow and arrow. Think about the center. Where is my really, really, really hot target going to be? Someone who's already healthy, open to an integrative way of thinking. You know what I mean? May not have had acupuncture, but may have, but is open to thinking that way and is willing to spend some money on themselves, willing to put their health first. Women are the decision makers in healthcare. So even if your practice is geared towards men, you want to always go after the women because you know what? They make the decisions for the guys. This is a stereotype, okay? In a traditional setting, they make the decision for their husbands and for their children. So think about where those people are and don't be shy. There may be, you may practice, you may have a little office that practices out of something else, and there may be a yoga clothing store 3 doors down. Well, people that buy yoga clothing are really good for your target. Go in there. Hey, I wanted to talk to you. Would you guys be interested in doing an event? I could come and speak about acupuncture, and what's great about that? Then you're doing this combined marketing, and then guess what? Then you get access to their mailing list. That's gold. Now all of a sudden, You know, everyone that's come into the yoga store, they're going to blast that out on their Constant Contact. Oh, I'm having, you know, Angela come and speak tonight. She's an acupuncturist. She's, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's free, you know, and all of a sudden they've blasted her information out. Think about the ripples in the water. Think about what happens when you throw the stone. Be calculated in the way that you do that. It's very, very powerful, and you have to be creative. Think outside the box. There's no bad idea. So there are strategic partnerships are great. They're fantastic. And if you like to speak and you're not it's not something that, you know, I don't know, everybody, very few people love it. They get nervous. I got nervous coming here. You know what I mean? It's a small group. I mean, it's normal, right? But if you can get yourself up in front of people and share your message in a situation where you have a targeted demographic, that's free. It's your time. And it's a home run, super effective. Some free resources, and again, I didn't type these out or anything. You guys can contact me. I can send you a list. Okay, how many of you have heard of SCORE? SCORE? Okay. Incredible resources in San Diego. Just Google it. It's like spend 20 minutes on the SCORE website. They will give you a free retired mentor that will help you write a business plan, help you with your legal advice, help you, I mean, kind of put me as a consultant out of business, SCORE, okay? Like, they do everything for you. Okay, they do, and then if it's not for free, they do workshops. They have marketing workshops, they have workshops on SEO, they have workshops on websites, they have workshops on doing your financials, they have workshops on QuickBooks. So really look into them. Incredible opportunities with SCORE, I have to say. The Office of Small Businesses, San Diego, can help you. They have a startup guide for getting your business license, you know, kind of jumping through those hoops. And again, I don't know where everybody's at in their journey, but it's a great resource. Constant Contact I talked about. Constant Contact for $30 a month, man, you get a lot of bang for your buck if you take advantage of the resources that they have. I mentioned mentors earlier. I've had an incredible mentor in marketing over the past few years. Very good friend of mine, owns the compounding pharmacy. But just what I've learned from my mentor has been incredible. Go and find a mentor if you can. Look at somebody who has a successful business. Doesn't have to be an acupuncture business. Business is business. You know, if you're bringing clients, patients through the door, you're converting. You're hitting that return. Go and pick their brain. Take them to coffee. You'd be amazed about how people want to help, especially entrepreneurs, small business owners. It's like we've been through it. We've been drugged through it, and we've succeeded. And so few small businesses do, quite frankly, you know those numbers. So it's like, you've been through it, call on them. Say, hey, look, you know what, could I pick your brain? Could we have a call once a week, or I could just, what's the worst I could say? No. People like that. It feeds their ego. People like to teach, you know? And then hopefully you can give back and you can be a mentor in whatever arena that is. So I'm a big fan of mentorship all the way across the board. Being a mentor and benefiting from a mentor. There's a ton of free listings online. You guys should be on all of them. Email me if you want them. You should be on all of them. You should be on the yellowpages.com. People are going to Yelp you. It's like a whole nother conversation, okay? So you're going to have to think about getting yourself out there on the directories because, quite frankly, a lot of people will look for an acupuncturist online. This is a really cool website. It's called Fiverr. It's fiverr.com, like the number 5. Just check it out. Everything on this website is $5. I have had, we've recently launched a bunch of websites for this lead generation thing I'm doing. I've paid thousands of dollars for logos. Okay, when you know more, you do better, right? Okay? I've paid thousands of dollars for logos. And I'm not disparaging graphic artists. I have lots of friends that are graphic artists, and there are times when you really need a graphic artist. But for $5, I got the most awesome logo on this website, and they gave it to me in a zip file with every version I needed. JPEG, PNG, AI, I was like, what? Looked totally professional, $5. They'll do anything. They can, if you have a PDF, for example, and you can't, get the original Word document and you want to cut, they'll convert that for you. They'll type for you. They'll create ads for you. They'll create marketing pieces for you. They'll create taglines for you. They'll create letterhead for you. It's like a hidden secret. Okay? Check it out. Check it out. It's really, really cool. You can do really fun stuff personally too. Like you can make cool cards for people, or they'll have like someone like dressed like Ronald Reagan come and talk, and it's just crazy. So check it out. If you need support with that, let me know too. And just remember, don't, reinvent the wheel. If you see someone having success, copy what they're doing. This is not you guys aren't, MBA marketing students where your mission in life is to go get a job doing marketing for a big company and making $100,000 a year. You're acupuncturists. You want to be successful, you want to help people, and you want to stay in business. These are assumptions that I'm making, but I think they're fairly true. Unless there might be someone in the room who's independently wealthy and doesn't need to make money, and is just doing this because that's what and that's cool, that's great. But I'm assuming that you want to make money. I'm assuming that you made an investment to go to school, time and money, and you want to have that pay out for you. That's like living the dream, loving what you do and being successful at it financially. So we have a few minutes left. Does anybody, I know that was like really fast and a lot. Does anybody have any questions specifically? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Ask the questions.
With regards to like social marketing, I know that the idea is to show your
She's so
expertise,
cute.
but like, is there a value, or are you totally shooting in the wrong direction if you just try to because like what you said, how it's like everybody's doing it now.
Right.
So like, I'm a massage therapist, and so
Okay.
how many times do you want to necessarily hear about the same articles or things like that? Like, is it going in the wrong direction to just be talking about things that you think your people might be interested in? Like, if you're targeting males or whatever, and
Sure.
camping, and you're talking
Right,
about
right.
the latest camping gear,
It's a great question. The answer could probably be 3 hours long. Social media, no, I'm going to give you a shorter answer. Social media is like if you pull a thread on a sweater and it just starts to unravel, you're like, oh my gosh, wow. So you have to come into it thinking, I'm going to have fun with it, and I'm going to use it if it's productive for me. In answer to your specific question, you're right on. Social media is about having a conversation, especially Facebook, okay? Facebook is about having a conversation. It's like going to a cocktail party. How many times have you been to a party and you meet someone and all they do is talk about themselves the whole time? Blah, 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 blah. They never ask you about yourself. How's your family? How's your practice? Did you finish school? Where are you at? Do you have any vacations planned? They just tell you all about themselves and then they leave. It's like bleh, and then they leave. And you're like, I don't really like hanging out with that person, right? Facebook's the same way. If you only talk about yourself and how great you are, people aren't engaged. They don't care. But you said it perfectly. So I liked what you said because, okay, say your target was men, pick an age range, get more finite, get smaller on that. My target is men ages 35 to 55. What do they like to do? That's what I'm going to talk about, okay? And so then, talk about what they, talk about golf clubs. Check this out. I got the engage. Always referring back to what you do once in a while, okay? I think the tendency in social media is to be that, even though you're not that person at the cocktail party, right? But when you get in social media and you're like, every day you want to post about yourself. Now I've got a special, and now that's normal. That's a normal human way of thinking when you're thinking about marketing. I want it to be all about me, but it can't be all about you. That's a turnoff, really, for any marketing. I mean, we've kind of talked about that today. We have to think, what's in it for them? Why do they want to why do they want to like your page? Do you have really funny quotes that you put up? We do this event, Wine, Women, and Hormones. Okay, we've done it for years. Angela knows about it. It's a trademarked event. We have a Facebook page. We try to balance it between funny comics, we talk about wine, and then we'll go super clinical, and we'll post a study. It's like engage. And I would recommend, if you're not doing any social media, that you just stop and get your plan together and figure out where you're going to get your patients. Because I don't know, I'll be honest with you guys, and I mean, it's on video now, so it's memorialized. I don't know how much return social media brings. It's difficult to track. Do I think it's important? Yes. Do I think you have to move up the learning curve? Absolutely, because you have no choice. Digital marketing is the way it's going to go. It's the way it's going. And, to your question about email marketing, it's taken over. Social media is taken over. So you have to at least be able to play. But do you have to be an expert at it right now? No. And do you have to have Quora, Pinterest, Twitter? Get a Facebook page and start with that and get it going, And call on your friends to spread the word. I don't think I touched on that too much. You know, your patients are great. You want them to be your biggest evangelists. We talked about that. But who do you know and where are they? Where are these people? Like, you know, do you have a friend that works at Qualcomm and maybe they have a women's health club or something? You know, I'm just making, like, where are your people at? And ask your friends. Your friends may never want acupuncture from you. Might not be their deal. And I'm sorry, I assumed you all were in acupuncture, but massage or whatever your discipline is. They may never want that. I've got a good friend that will never get a massage. She hates getting a massage. Who hates getting a massage? Are you kidding? She doesn't like it. Okay, fine. She's not going to be your client, but I guarantee you she knows 6 people that love getting massages that would benefit from you. And if she's got a Facebook page, you want her working for you, sharing the love. So, yes?
I realize this could be a whole class also, but you talked about tracking
Uh-huh.
and being able to track that return on investment.
Yeah.
So for us as small business people,
Yeah.
how would you suggest, what's the easy way that we could?
That's a really good question. In terms of the social media, I don't have an answer for you. There's a couple ways you could go on that. But in terms of what the other things we've been talking about, it's really keep it really simple. Okay, figure out what your marketing budget is. Okay, which generally in the business world is 15% of what you've got left over after you pay yourself and what's left in the kitty. Generally. But you don't have to go by that. I say spend as little as you can. Okay, there's so many resources. You could get cards online and stuff for $50, okay? Be creative, and if you don't know where to look, ask somebody. Ask me. Give me a call, send me an email. I'll give you the answers. Figure out what you're spending. Keep it really, really simple. Figure out what you've spent and figure out what it's brought in the door. How do you figure out what it's bringing in the door? You have to ask people. How'd you hear about me? Who sent you? I noticed you made an appointment. Who do you know? Maybe he knows your neighbor. Maybe it's a random. Maybe you put up a really, my website is a one-page WordPress thing. I don't have time for it. I don't think people go to it. I just have it to have it, right? But maybe somebody went there, and that's why they want me to help them consult. So you have to ask people where they came from. How did I get this business? How am I lucky enough to have you come through my door? If you don't ask, then you can't track. So that's really important. There's different ways you can measure. If you use Constant Contact, and I don't want to get too into it, and you're doing offers, digital, for lack of a better word, coupons or digital offers through Constant Contact, they have some cool analytics on the back end that can help you track conversion. So what you can do is, like, say your email is marysmith@gmail.com. You can see that Mary Smith clicked through, downloaded the coupon or whatever, and came into your office because now she's sitting in your office. So you have to take the time at least every month to go through your new patients, okay? And then have a plan in place for what you're going to do with them. How do you follow up with them? Do you send them a handwritten thank you note? I got a handwritten thank you note recently. It rocked my world. I was like, oh my God, I love that. Nobody does that. Do you send a handwritten thank you note? Do you call a week out and say, hey, how are you feeling? I just wanted to check in on you. Did you if you never hear from them, you should be tracking that 3 months out and say, hey, it's been 3 months since I've seen you. How you feeling? What's going on? I'd love for you to come back and see me. Why haven't you come back and see me? Is it financial? Did you feel like there was no benefit? You have to ask these questions. Otherwise, you don't know. And people want to tell you. Don't be shy. If you ask the right way, people will tell you, you know what? I thought it was expensive and I didn't really think it did anything to help me. You need to know that. You know what I mean? Or, oh my gosh, I loved it. I know I didn't come back because I didn't need to. I felt great. Great. Who have you told about it? Can I give you some of my cards? You have to track it that way. And I like the way you asked the question, just keep it simple. This stuff can get so unnerving and overwhelming. Keep it simple. In January, I spent $300. I got some letterhead and some cards, and I set up my Constant Contact, and I paid 3 months in advance. Okay? Now we're in April. What did I get for that $300? Stop. Go through your database. You should be uploading those contacts all the time. There has to be a process in place. It doesn't have to be formally written out if it's just you, but you have to have a process. It just is, or you can't reach the goals. If you're going to set goals, go back to the marathon. You got to run a little bit every day, or you're not just going to put on the shoes and run 26 miles.